I was 22 when I entered the Army as a second lieutenant.
He went to his first duty station in Korea. Our first year of marriage, we were apart. And then when he returned from Korea, we went to our first duty station together, which was Fort Riley, Kansas. And that's where we became pregnant with our oldest son, and that's where he was born. He actually deployed when I was 5 months pregnant, and he missed the birth. And then fast forward to when we were located at Fort Benning, now currently Fort Moore, Georgia, and our youngest, they're 2 years apart, was born. And he actually missed that entire pregnancy and the birth due to another deployment.
I was sad, that I couldn't be there for those moments. But I think that's one of those times when it really comes down to who you pick as a partner. And I think having my wife made those times a lot easier for me. She would call when she could. She would make sure that I could, talk to her stomach. She put the phone to her stomach. So things to make me feel like I was still involved as a father, even when I couldn't be there.
So when he was 5 years old in kindergarten was when we received his formal diagnosis of autism. And the school at the time still did not believe it because he could speak. So it kind of spoke to us about the challenges we were going to tackle, because we knew as a military family, we were going to move again. And at this point, he's been in 3 different schools because of moving due to the military commitment. So I became an advocate for families that have learners in special education for that reason, so that we wouldn't have to have that battle again. But it was a rough year, and but we always say we definitely came out stronger, and we know now when there's any school challenge, we got in the bag.
My mom and dad really helped me because they're always there for me.
I think a lot of military families face is going into an area where you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice in the school you choose, and so you kind of have to just adapt.
So while all this was going on, he started having his problems at school. I was just doing my job, right? At the time, I was a company commander, a troop commander. I had about 90 soldiers that I was in charge of, and we would, be in the field training. And then it was times I'd get a phone call, or she would contact me and let me know that, hey, your son's still having problems at school. And so that's on my mind while we're, in the woods. It's, how do I, what do I need to do as a father? How do I need to step up to be there? Because I don't know what it is. So I'm just going through my head thinking about what I can do better, or what do I need to do to help him get through his day.
After our son was diagnosed, I sought out a diagnosis because him and I are very similar. And so looking back, we realized that's why I had some disconnect to it. And then also he was kind of like, well, he's just like you. And so, and then I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD as well.
From my perspective, I think you kind of get him into a routine, right? And routines are big in the military, but especially for being neurodivergent, routines are important. So he has this routine. You start to build this network of people that we trust as parents and that they trust as our kids, and then we have to leave all that and go somewhere else, right? It's demanding on any kid, and then you want to add neurodivergence on top of that, and it just made things a little bit harder, right? That initial getting into a new school and learning the teachers there, and trying to gauge, really how problematic is this going to be for us to work with you to get our kid what they need. And we know we've had some ups and downs with that, but we've also had some good work and great results that came from having that dialogue early. So I was halfway to the 20-year career mark, but it was at that point I decided to go into the reserves to really give more stability to my family. I think a lot of people, when they talk about balancing out work and helping at home, they use that term work-life balance, right? And I think that it doesn't necessarily exist like people like to use it. I think that my overall goal or what I had to do was basically dig deep, right? Coaches on football fields tell their players to dig deep all the time. So I had to dig deep and find that extra energy to step up and help my wife in those areas to be the type of father that can not only accept neurodivergence, but be an active participant in continuing to shape my son as he goes on that journey.